So for my project, I made a MIDI drum pad, which I ended up calling the Koal 1. So my inspiration was some of these drum pads that are already on the market. On the left is Yamaha's drum pad model that's already out, and on the right is Nord's. I really like the aesthetic that they already have. It's kind of minimalist design with the square drum pads instead of the circle drum pads, which I think looks a lot better in a casing like this. The problem with these is that they're really expensive. They come with their own onboard sound engines, which drives the price of them up a lot. So I kind of wanted to see if I could make a cheaper model. So the aesthetic that I ended up rolling with is kind of this like 70s stereo feel, where you have kind of just like black aluminum and then some sort of like wood casing around the side. I ended up doing this after I found a body for my drum pad that I wanted to work with, and I kind of redesigned the drum pad around this wooden body that I got. So you know, MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. It's just the standard of how musical instruments communicate with one another, and it's also how they interact with computers nowadays. So a MIDI drum pad is just a drum pad that sends out MIDI data instead of creating like its own sound. And then that MIDI data can just be interpreted by a computer or another musical instrument and turn into a sound from there. So the whole body is made out of acrylic. So I drafted up all the parts in SolidWorks. It's all slotted acrylic so that it all just kind of fits together. And different sides have different slots in different places so that you can't assemble it incorrectly. All the parts only fit in with themselves. Acrylic's just really easy to work with, and it's super cheap. And it's pretty durable if you can get enough surface area for the bonding, and you have enough bonded surfaces, so I went with that. Also, the ITLL's laser cutter is pretty readily available, so it makes prototyping really quick. For my drum pads, I used the sensor, this piezoelectric sensor, from the inside of a Rock Band drum set. And it's just connected to a Teensy microcontroller. It took me a while to figure out how to use the Teensy correctly, but it ended up hooking up with those sensors pretty easily, and it works pretty reliably. It works on the Arduino platform, and it actually has a built-in MIDI library, so I can just set it so that when you hit a sensor, it automatically sends out MIDI data. So I just have mine sending out MIDI data via USB cable. So it ended up costing around $82 for everything, about $20 of acrylic, $10 for the foam, $40 for the drum set, $2 for the wood frame, $20 for the Teensy, and then $10 for just various electrical components. Some of this price can be brought down, you know, if you only buy as much as you need. I didn't need that much foam, but it's just what I ended up using. And I probably don't need $20 worth of acrylic if you can get scrap acrylic, but it's just what I ended up using. So in the future, I want to build a PCB for it, printed circuit board. Right now, you can see it after I talk. The electronics are pretty messy, so if I printed a PCB, it would just look a lot cleaner, and there's less of a chance for things to touch. I'd also like to build a hysteresis band. This will just help improve latency between when a drum pad is hit and when you hear the sound. Right now you can actually play two sounds at once, or you think that you can, but it's just that you're hitting two within the range of where the code picks it up. But this will make sure that you'd almost hear two sounds no matter what. I'd like to add more LEDs. My controller started acting really weird when I hooked up a bunch of LEDs, so I need to figure out what's going on there. And then finally, the pad material I'd like to change to kind of a softer rubber. Right now I'm using plumber's rubber, and it's coated in like an oil or something, so it smells kind of gross. And it's just not quite ideal. I'd like something with a little more spring to it. So, any questions?